When I turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands, and among the lampstands was someone like the Son of Man, dressed in a robe reaching down to his feet, with a golden sash round his chest. His head and hair were white as wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were like blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like the sound of rushing waters. Surrounding the throne were 24 thrones, and seated on them were 24 elders. They were dressed in white and had crowns of gold on their heads. From the throne there came flashes of lightning, rumblings and peals of thunder. Before the throne 7 lamps were blazing. These are the 7 spirits of God. Also in front and behind the throne there was what looked like a sea of glass, clear as crystal. In the centre around the throne were 4 living creatures, and they were covered in eyes, in front and behind. The first living creature was like a lion, the second was like an ox, the third had a face like a man, and the fourth was a flying eagle. Each of the creatures had 6 wings, and was covered with eyes all around, even under their wings. I looked, and there before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow, and he was given a crown, and he rode out as a conqueror bent on conquest. When the Lamb opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature say, "Come." Then another horse came out, a fiery red one. Its rider was given power to take peace from the earth, and to make men slay each other. To him was given a large sword. When the Lamb opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a black horse. Its rider was holding a pair of scales in his hand. Then I heard what sounded like a voice among the 4 living creatures saying, "A quart of wheat for a day's wages, and 3 quarts of barley for a day's wages, and do not damage the oil and the wine." When the Lamb opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th living creature say, "Come." There before me was a pale animal. Its rider was named Death, and Hades was following close behind him. After this I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth, to prevent any wind blowing on the land or on the sea or on any tree. Then I saw another angel coming up from the east, having the seal of the living God. The 5th angel sounded his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen from the sky to earth. The star was given the key to the shaft of the abyss. When he opened the abyss, smoke rose from it, like smoke from a gigantic furnace. The sun and the sky were darkened by the smoke from the abyss, and out of the smoke locusts came upon the earth, and were given a power like that of scorpions of the earth. A great and wondrous sign appeared in heaven. A woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant, and cried out in pain as if about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads, and 10 horns, and 7 crowns on his head. His tail swept 1/3 of the stars out of the sky, and flung them to the earth. Then I saw a great white throne, and him who was seated on it. Earth and sky fled from his presence, and there was no place for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were opened. Another book was opened, which is the book of life. The dead were judged according to what they had done, as recorded in the books. The sea gave up the dead that were in it, and the death and Hades gave up the dead that were in them, and each person was judged according to what he has done. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. The lake of fire is the second death. If anyone's name was not found in the book of life, he was thrown into the lake of fire.